What was the example in the spa?
There was a woman and her daughter in the changing locker room or whatever, and a trans woman went in there with the freaking big schlong waving around.
Can I just point out that the part of that you seemed really focused on was the penis? It seems like you called it a big schlong. Do you know that it was big?
Well, yeah, if it's a penis, it's a man.
How big was it?
Probably like 3 to 4 inches.
That's big to you? What do you want me to call you? I don't know how to say your username. Chapo, all right, if I call you that?
Yeah, that's Chapo. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, sounds good. What's on your mind?
I don't know. The only thing that's on my mind, because obviously, like, I'm Hispanic myself, and you guys are like so anti-Trump. Like, what's your guys' biggest message to get people who are not American to be anti-Trump? Because fighting oligarchy, like, my dad doesn't know what an oligarch is. He doesn't speak English, you know?
Okay.
This is the reason you guys are losing a bunch of the Hispanic votes. My dad was a freaking big anti-Trump hater, and now he's a big Trump supporter.
Why is he a Trump supporter?
Because Biden fucked up his trucking business.
How did Biden do that?
Well, the gas.
The what?
Diesel.
Cost of
all the policies that he put in, the cost, like, can't even make money on nothing, and everything costs more expensive.
Yeah, so I think that this is honestly a hard question to answer. I've been thinking about this weekend. The hardest part with winning over Trump supporters is you have to win the argument, but Trump's arguments are lies. And so it's really difficult to say, like when it comes to oil, when it comes to the price of oil. Did you know throughout all of Biden's presidency, we were drilling more oil than during Trump's presidency?
Well, yeah, everybody says that. Of course, I've heard that. If that was the case, then why was oil or gas the most expensive than it's ever been in decades?
Because the president and the government doesn't determine the price of gas.
But when Trump was doing it, they said he did. But then Biden
they lied.
did it, and now they're saying they didn't.
That's the problem.
So who's the liar?
Who said they did?
When the prices go up, they say the president doesn't have control over prices. But then Biden is bragging about bringing prices down when he never brought any prices down.
Yeah, look, for those people, I agree. The only thing I would say is that, like, it seems like Trump gets to play by different rules, right? Because he does the exact same thing. He brags about prices when they go down. Like, he talks about having gas at $2. When gas was anywhere close to $2, it's because the whole world was shut down for COVID and nobody was using gas. And Trump leaves that part out. I think the hardest part with dealing with Trump is that we have never had a politician who just openly lied about everything like this. And so it's hard to keep track because, again, exactly what you just said. Trump takes credit when prices go low and blames somebody else when prices go high. But you just criticize Biden for doing the same thing. So the problem we have is that it seems to be people don't criticize Trump for the same stuff they criticize Biden for. If it's the same thing, why would that determine who you voted for? You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't vote because, I mean,
like really for your dad.
If you guys want to make...
But like for your dad.
If you guys want to make Biden freaking fucked everything up. Do you think people want to make less money or more money?
I think that the problem is that people don't know how things got fucked up. And it's very simple.
You guys want to tax the 1%. You guys want to tax the 1%.
Brother,
the 1% makes $400,000.
Let's do one subject at a time. Is that okay? Because it seems, and this is another problem that we have. If we're being honest, it doesn't seem like you really know. It seems like you just want to rattle off a bunch of things. So let's go one by one and let's see if they're true.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that fair? Okay, so when it comes to gas, the president obviously doesn't control that, right?
But when it came to Biden, they said
I know. I'm not saying. I agree with you. I agree that Biden took credit. He didn't, but Trump did the same thing. So that would be a knock against both of them, right?
Right.
Okay, gotcha. And if you want to test it out, we can. I have this theory where everything Trump supporters believe is a lie, and I think that everything you. So let's hold on. So let's do this. Knowing that I think that everything you believe is a lie, I'll let you go down like one by one and we'll see if you actually know if it's a lie or not. How about that? Is that fair?
Sure. The border crossings being 98% less.
Okay.
Is that a lie?
Are the border crossings 98% less?
Yeah.
Why?
How is that a lie?
No. It's true. Sorry. No. It's true. Sorry. I was saying yes, that's true. Why are they lower? This is where it gets tricky. So the lie isn't usually the claim. The lie is usually.
I mean, it doesn't really matter why it's lower. It's obvious why it's lower.
What I'm saying is the lie is usually that Trump did something. So border crossings are lower now. Why?
Well, I don't know. Tim Walz was saying that we needed legislation, and we never had legislation to fix the border, and it got fixed. So
why?
Because there's military presence. Because people are going to get deported to a country where they don't want to go to. You really think a person from Mexico wants to come to the United States to get deported to Sudan?
Bingo. So great. Yes, I agree with you. I think that some of these crossings are down because people no longer want to be here. Now, is that good or bad for this country?
I mean, if they don't want to be here, then why are they protesting ICE
brother,
for being here?
Brother, understand what you're saying. People aren't coming here anymore because they're afraid. And then you're also accusing people who haven't come here of protesting.
What?
You're saying that people are afraid to come here, right?
Yeah, but
so
there's
how
already
could
people that are here that have came here.
Okay, but we're talking.
You really think that only people have came here from like the last 6 months?
Stay with me.
People have been coming here for the last 10 years.
I understand. Stay with me though. We're talking about the people that aren't coming here now, right? So now that there are less people that want to come to America, is that good or bad?
There's less people that want to come illegally. There's still the same amount of people that want to come legally.
That's not true also. Actually, the number of people like applying for citizenship, asylum, showing up at the border, applying for a legal process, that's down. It's almost gone. So is that good or bad?
It's almost gone. But then people were crying about the 50 South Africans that came over.
Is that good or bad?
I mean, if you really want to put it in a certain way, it's good because we get more resources for ourselves. Why do we got to take care of the world?
Let's just talk like adults right now, because this is the problem with our country. I'm legitimately trying to have a conversation with you, and every time I ask you a question, you get very defensive. And you get nervous.
I'm not even getting defensive.
Well, then could you just answer my question on whether it's good or bad that less people are coming here?
I was going to say, I said, it's if you really want to get technical about it, it would probably be good that less people want to come here because we get more resources for ourselves. We get more money for our veterans, more freaking money for our seniors.
Right. So let's talk about that then. Now that less people are coming here, is Trump's government giving more money to our veterans and to people who need food or people who need medical care? Are they increasing or decreasing the budget for those things?
Well, Trump literally increased it when he took the housing for illegal immigrants and just gave it to veterans.
He didn't. When did he do that?
Is that not increasing?
He didn't do that.
Like a couple weeks ago.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, he did.
Brother,
just because MSNBC didn't.
The president can't do that.
Yeah, see, that's why I say the president can't do that. But when Biden does something good, he gave all the presidents power to him.
You're not engaging this conversation. You're just trying to play whataboutism. The president can't take money and just give it to veterans. That would have to go through Congress. Congress controls the purse.
Well, it didn't. It literally didn't go to veterans. It went to veteran housing.
That would have to go through Congress, bud.
Well, maybe Congress did it. Well, I don't know exact details.
Congress hasn't passed their spending bill yet, and their spending bill has cuts to everything you're talking about, to veterans' health care, to Medicare, to Medicaid, to SNAP.
Well, yeah, there's illegal immigrants on it. There's people like me. I shouldn't be on Medicaid, and I'm on Medicaid taking advantage of it.
You're on Medicaid?
Yeah.
How are you on Medicaid? What state are you in?
Colorado.
Okay, well, that's a decision. If Colorado's giving Medicaid to you, that's a decision by Colorado. It's not a federal rule. States have the ability to, if they want to add people onto Medicaid, they can. But
yeah, I'm on Medicaid when I should rather be working and I get free money.
Wait,
when Medicaid, I shouldn't be getting free money.
Okay, so here's the problem. Now I know that you're lying because Medicaid doesn't give you money.
Yes, it gives you a gift card.
No, it doesn't.
To go buy groceries.
No, it doesn't. That's SNAP.
Well, it gives you.
That's SNAP.
I don't have SNAP. I have Medicaid.
No, you don't.
I applied for Medicaid and I got a SNAP card.
You got, wait, what?
Well, not a SNAP card, an EBT one.
You're lying, bud. Why are you lying right now?
What am I lying about?
What is your, you get a Medicaid card? What does that Medicaid card pay for?
I don't know. I could just use it at the grocery store for groceries.
Sounds like food stamps. I mean, I'm not familiar with Colorado's rules, but.
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know why I forgot that term.
Okay, well, did Trump fix that?
Yeah, I'm not on it anymore. So I should rather be working and getting my own money.
Did Trump cancel it?
Yeah.
When?
Because I should be working.
Wait, when did Trump cancel it?
I don't know. Whenever it got canceled. I don't really.
I just don't think. I don't think you're telling the truth.
Trump is making cuts to Medicaid, and I'm telling you, I got cut for Medicaid, and you don't believe it.
You said that Trump was going to take money and he was going to give it to American citizens. He was going to pay for things like veterans' health care, but he's cutting veterans' health care. So how is he taking that money and giving it to veterans' health care?
I mean, there's also a bunch of veterans that are struggling to get health care that deserve it,
and Trump's cutting it, and Trump is cutting the health care of veterans.
Trump is cutting the veterans that don't deserve health care.
What veterans don't deserve health care?
I don't know, but I've even seen this podcast. What's his name? I'm not sure his name.
I know the one you're talking about. You're talking about the people. It's the guy that veterans.
I'll let you talk more than me.
If you want to change how veterans get disability, then you have to change the law. And those laws would have to be changed through Congress. We haven't changed.
Okay, so if you want illegal immigrants to become citizens, then you should go to Congress and change the law.
The real problem that we have, and I'm going to be just pretty honest here, the real problem we have in this country, there's a lot of people like you who don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you have very strong opinions with no facts. And so the problem we have in America is largely people who are lazy and prone to propaganda. Everything you've said so far today is literal propaganda. You're just kind of a troll. Like, and this might work on somebody who like doesn't do this, but this is embarrassing. Like, it's embarrassing that you exist and you have these thoughts. Everything you've said is a lie.
So it's embarrassing that I think that illegal immigrants should get deported for breaking the law?
No. Joe Biden deported way more immigrants than Donald Trump.
Okay, so is Joe Biden racist?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Is Obama racist because he deported more than both?
Nobody thinks that Trump's racist for deporting people.
Yes, they call him that.
Yeah, we call him. No, we call him a racist because he's a racist.
Racist against who?
Generally, anybody who he views as different.
I'm different. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't call me.
If he found
he wouldn't be racist.
Well, you just said you're here illegally. He wants you out. What the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck.
I was born in the United States.
You just said you were here illegally. You said you were an illegal.
When did I say I was here
you
illegal?
said you were an illegal immigrant on Medicaid.
No, all I said was I have Medicaid.
Chad, am I fucking crazy? Did he not say he was an illegal immigrant on Medicaid? Am I crazy?
I said I shouldn't be on I said I shouldn't be on
because
Medicaid,
you were
and I
an
am.
illegal immigrant. That's what you said. Yeah. See, this whole thing, it was a lie the whole time. All right. Now here's the truth. You're not on Medicaid. You're not an illegal immigrant. Everything you've told us so far is a lie. Now it's even more embarrassing. Not only did your lie get exposed, you're somebody who showed up on a YouTube channel and started lying about who you were, to lie about benefits that you were getting, to support a president who you claim you didn't vote for. This is the problem with America. With my very
just
first
because I don't vote for Trump doesn't mean I support him.
The problem with America is we have too many people who don't think for themselves, who don't know the truth from their own asshole, and that seems to be you. You have no idea what's true. None. And you just lied a bunch of times for no fucking reason. You lied about getting Medicaid as an illegal immigrant. For what reason? Why did you lie about that?
I was never said I was an illegal immigrant. I was said I was on
brother,
Medicaid,
these are recorded.
And he said I wasn't.
Listen, brother, these are recorded. You absolutely
All
said
right, play it back. I want to hear it. Play it back.
It's record. It goes live after the live
play
ends.
It back.
It goes live.
All right, dude. I'll call you back and we could play it back together.
Literally everybody, your side of the aisle, everybody knows you said that.
There's illegal immigrants on it. There's people like me. I shouldn't be on Medicaid, and I'm on Medicaid taking advantage. All right, we can play it back together, and you can prove me wrong.
Why you lied about that?
I mean, I honestly don't remember saying I was an illegal immigrant.
But your dad's an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, my dad is.
Where did he move from?
I never said he was an illegal immigrant. I said he's an immigrant. Well, I mean, I guess if you want to be technical about it, my dad did come illegally, but now he's a citizen. So it's like, why is he going to get deported if he's an American citizen?
You said your dad was an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, now he's a citizen. You act like people can't become citizens.
So if you're a citizen and he's a citizen, you said that you get Medicaid and the immigrants shouldn't get it. You're not an illegal immigrant. So what did that have to do with anything?
No, it's not only illegal immigrants that get Medicaid. American citizens also get Medicaid.
You brought up illegal immigrants getting. We were talking about immigration, bud.
Illegal immigrants shouldn't get Medicaid. I'm an illegal immigrant. Nobody's
advocating for that. It's not like Harris was running.
Yeah, they are.
Who?
All the Democrats want free health care for all illegals. What is Gavin Newsom doing in California? What is Eric Adams doing in New York?
Not that.
They literally have a budget for illegal immigrant health care.
They have to pay for health care of people. And by the way, it's not illegal immigrant health care. It's immigrant health care.
Okay.
And some people are
it's
here
undocumented immigrant health care.
Or asylum seekers, which is a legal process.
Okay, yeah.
The whole reason we had this conversation is because I said, I don't think anything you believe is true. And on the border, you said, are there less? And I said, yes. And then we said, why? And
exactly. So we agreed on one thing.
After we asked why, you told me that you were an illegal immigrant getting Medicaid. Your dad was an illegal immigrant. Then you turned it on Joe Biden. You can't even stay on that subject. I want to know. I asked you the question.
Dude, I never said I was an illegal immigrant. If you want, I want you to play it back. I want to hear it back with you, bro. There's illegal immigrants on it. There's people like me. I shouldn't be on Medicaid, and I'm on Medicaid taking advantage.
I asked you the question whether or not you knew why immigration was down, and you don't. You have no idea.
I told you because Trump put people at the border. There's some more soldiers at the border. Everything. The border is stronger.
Did you know who put? Do you know who put people at the border before Trump?
Oh yeah, Obama put those people in the cages. I remember that.
Newsom's had troops at the border for a long time now. Did you know that?
Okay. And what were they doing? Letting people in?
No.
Seems like they didn't help anything when all these illegal, like, haven't you seen the videos on YouTube? Even CNN, all those people just freely, just walking in, jumping the border.
YouTube and CNN again? Do you see the problem that you have here? Problem is, it seems like you are completely educated by, I'm going to guess, clips.
Chinese people are coming from the U.S. border, bro.
Oh my God.
Like the Mexican border.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
Where do you think Africans are crossing from? I'm from freaking a border town.
Are you afraid of Chinese people? I thought you lived in Colorado.
No, you are.
What the fuck are you you live in Colorado, now you're on the border?
No, I'm saying my family is from a border town in Mexico, dude. Like, god damn. Like, why do you gotta misinterpret everything?
You just said I'm from a border town. I don't know. I live in Arizona.
Yeah, my family.
All right. What does that have to do with anything?
The fucking El Paso Juarez, dude.
What does that
like,
have to do
we've
with
seen
anything?
We've seen African people just mob and jump across the border and jump the fence. Whoever goes across gets across. Whoever gets caught gets caught.
Cool.
And now that's not happening anymore.
It's not. There's no illegal border crossings now.
Oh well, obviously.
Oh, there is
crossing the border now.
There's people still crossing the border.
Oh, who?
I don't know. If they get away, we don't know who they are. Dipshit.
Oh well, there's nobody getting away because they're all getting caught. There's a reason why there's 98 mass border crossings. Do you know what you agreed with?
No, the Border Patrol reports gotaways. Do you know what a gotaway is?
No.
That's people who got away. If everybody's being caught, how's Border Patrol still reporting on gotaways?
I mean, I haven't seen any videos of anybody crossing.
You didn't know what a gotaway was 3 seconds ago. You just said, I haven't seen videos of people crossing. Yeah, you're a dipshit. You don't look at data. This is what I'm talking about. You just watch the videos.
There's drones. There's freaking trap cams.
Why do you think it is? Just out of curiosity, why do you think it is that when Joe Biden was president, you were flooded with videos of people crossing the border? And now, even though there's still people crossing the border, you don't see any. Why do you think that might be?
Why won't you say that? Okay, then tell me what should look up. So should I?
No, what I'm telling
what should I look up for 2025 crossings?
What I'm telling you is that you are a person.
You said you've seen videos, so I should see videos of myself too.
I did not say that. What I'm telling you is that you are a person who's entirely educated by short videos, and you're easy to dupe. You're easy to lie to. You're exactly the problem with America, is you are educated by videos and emotion, and you've never looked at the data. You don't know that Joe Biden and Barack Obama deported way more people than Donald Trump.
I do know about that. That's a freaking basic Republican talking point.
Far more effectively. So our problem obviously isn't with deportation. Our problem is with cruelty. Our problem is with the way that you're and creating civil
cruelty
unrest.
That Obama puts people in the cages.
Yeah, we had a
Obama's the one that started putting kids in cages.
We had a problem with
Biden
that.
is the one that had babies getting thrown over the border fence.
What aboutism right now? You're just a little bitch.
Dude,
you're just a bitch.
You're saying
you're just a little bitch that won't have a conversation. I'm asking.
You see how I never insulted you? What have I called you?
I'm insulting you. I am being insulting towards you because I think that you're being a little bitch right now. Because I just said that we have a problem with the cruelty. And while you were rattling off your list of talking points, I said I also have a problem with Obama doing that. But you didn't hear that because you were rattling off talking points. Yes, I have a problem.
What are you talking about?
I have a problem.
I let you talk and you never let me talk. Can I talk for 30 seconds?
I have a problem.
Exactly, you won't let me talk for 30 seconds.
I have a problem with cruelty.
Okay, then why didn't you freaking cry about Joe Biden and Obama putting all those kids in cages? Why don't you cry about all the missing children? 400,000 missing children.
I did. I was a Republican at that time. And I worked for Mitt Romney on his presidential campaign. And I was out knocking doors throughout the entire state of Iowa talking about the kids in cages. I was a Republican then.
Wait. Can I just ask you something? This is a genuine question. Like, how old are you? Because when Mitt Romney was being president or whatever, I was
39.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Because
you can look up my name. I held office in the Republican Party. You can look my name up. You can find it. I was a Republican.
I mean, at the same time,
yes, and I was consistent. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? I had a fucking principle that I didn't like cruelty. And when Donald Trump came in and he started being cruel, I left. Because I don't like cruelty. Because I'm not somebody who's just a partisan little bitch. And I criticized Joe Biden many times, specifically on his border policies and specifically about his treatment of Israel. Because I have principles. You don't. You have no principles. You are just a whataboutism machine. You have no principles. What principles do you stand for as a Republican?
I stand for America.
America's not a principle. It's a country. What principles do you stand for?
I stand for freaking women having the right to feel safe in their space, have the right to privacy, which you guys don't seem to care about.
So you don't want men in women's locker rooms, right?
Like, who would want that? Like, what the fuck? What kind of stupid ass talking?
Donald Trump used to run the Miss Teen USA pageant, and he used to walk in as a man.
Okay, cool. I get that.
Okay,
and I'm not with that.
Hold on. if you have principles, how did you say that my principle is that I want to protect women in their own personal spaces, but when Donald Trump went into them, you voted for him? Or you support him. You said you didn't vote. You support him. So it seems like you.
Can I talk, dude? Can I talk for 30 seconds?
As soon as I'm done.
Yeah, you asked me a question.
I haven't answered. No, I haven't asked the question. It seems like you only hold that principle for one side.
That's not a question.
I didn't ask you a question.
Statement.
I know. I haven't asked you a question yet, have I?
That's not a question.
So now I know I haven't asked yet.
You literally just finished your question saying why I would vote for Trump doing whatever he did as for teenage girls or.
He walked into the changing rooms.
To do that.
No, I said if it's your principle, if it's a principle,
yeah,
then why did you overlook it for Trump?
Yeah, that's not. I understand that, dude. I'm not with that.
Then why?
I don't want it to be a law where me. Okay, you pretend to be a girl. It wasn't a law. It doesn't matter if I support.
It's not a law now
for him or not. I don't support the law.
It's not a law
of
now.
Men being allowed in women's bathrooms.
That's not a law.
They want to make it a law.
Who?
Then why are men allowed in women's locker rooms?
There aren't men allowed in women's
Democrats?
locker rooms.
How?
There's not men allowed in women's locker rooms.
How are there? Yes, there is. There's been women. There's been men in women's locker rooms.
You mean
YouTube.
Oh, you mean trans women? That's what you mean? You mean trans women?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not
just because they cut off their penis or they put lipstick on and still have a penis.
Let me ask you a question. Could you give me an example?
Make them a woman.
Could you give me an example of a let's say a trans woman playing sports who was abusing women in their locker room?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been many girls going to their city councils.
I'm asking if you could give me an example.
Is represented.
I'm asking you for an example of
the one in the spa.
I'm asking you for
in
an
California,
example.
San Francisco.
What was the example in the spa in San Francisco?
San Francisco spa.
What about it? What happened?
There was a woman and her daughter in the changing locker room or whatever, and a trans woman, as you want to say, but I will say it's a man, went in there with the freaking big schlong waving around and just staring at the little girls trying to freaking do.
Can I just point out that the part of that you seemed really focused on was the penis? It seems like you called it a big schlong. Do you know that it was big?
Well, yeah, if it's a penis, it's a man.
How big was it?
Probably like 3 to 4 inches.
That's big to you?
Yep, very big to me.
That's great, man. That's great. Sorry about that.
Yep.
Okay, so what happened? Who got abused?
The child and her mom.
And what was the
and
what happened? Okay, who got abused? I said though.
The child. Like, why would you want to show a penis to a little girl, dude?
Who said? Is that what happened? He just she walked over and showed her penis. Are we saying?
That's what the mom reported to the police that happened.
Is there any evidence that happened?
Why would there be cameras in the locker room, dude? Don't you want privacy?
I didn't ask if there was cameras in the locker room, did I?
You asked for proof. It happened in the locker room.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I'm reading the story and I don't see anything in the story that says this woman went over and showed her genitals to this mom and this child. I don't see anything that says that. It seems like that part you made up. It seems like.
Well, there's been a lot of they even started attacking the spa.
Who did?
Los Angeles spa protest turns violent after alleged transgender exposure in spa.
A protest turned violent. Okay, so who got abused here?
So exposing your genitals to a minor.
I don't see that.
Abuse?
I don't see that in the story here.
That's the whole story of the protest.
What was the story of the protest?
Why do you think they were protesting there?
I don't know. I'm reading.
Showing genitals
I'm reading
to a minor.
I'm asking you. That's not in the story here. I'm reading the story. I don't see that in the story.
Who are you reading it from?
I'm on KALW right now, which is a local station in San Francisco, I believe.
California.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I mean, yeah.
Now, are any of these worse than Donald Trump walking in to inspect teenage girls while they were getting undressed? Or
is that worse? Show his penis to little girls?
Is that worse? So if Donald Trump goes and just inspects them,
I mean, showing
because by the way, the story that you're telling isn't true. The story is that this person was in a spa, so there's no evidence that they were like directly trying to do anything, look at this little girl or show this little girl anything. But Donald Trump went in to inspect.
Were you there?
Teenage girls.
Did he show his penis?
No. So it's fine if he doesn't.
Okay.
So it's fine if he doesn't take out his. It's fine if he goes in their dressing room and inspects them without.
You said why? You said it was worse. I mean,
I think it's worse. I think it's substantially
transgender
worse.
person.
The story I'm reading here in San Francisco sounds like there was just a transgender person in a spa and somebody freaked the fuck out. The story of Donald Trump is that he went into a place he had no business being in and he was inspecting underage girls while they were changing. Yeah, Donald Trump's story sounds way worse to me. Sounds like it was multiple
men walking around. around at the same time in those?
No, there were no men in there because those were underage girls. But Donald Trump bragged about it. He said, well, I run it, so I'm allowed to go in and inspect. Men aren't allowed in there normally, but I am because I own the pageant. That's what he said. He bragged about it.
Yeah, I know. And I disagree with that with Trump.
Okay, great. But
I don't have to.
But that's why I said it's not a principle because
aspect about Trump.
That's why I said I don't think it's a principle of yours because you still support him. Although in the stories that you've laid out so far, Trump is
support his policies. Trump seems how is it so hard for you guys to understand that I support his policies?
What policies do you support?
Do we have to go through this again?
Please.
Immigration.
Yeah, I don't think you know his policies. What are his immigration policies?
If you're here legally, you're gone.
That's everybody. That was Joe Biden's policy. That was Barack Obama's policy. That was Kamala Harris's policy.
And who did they enforce it?
Yeah, way better than Trump. Actually, they deported way more people. They were far more effective in doing it. Yeah, and it cost a lot less. It's costing Trump somewhere around like $16,000 to $17,000 per person deporting because of the way that they're going about it doing it. So not only did Joe Biden and Barack Obama deport more people who were here illegally, they did it in a humane way that was far more effective. And it didn't lead to riots. It didn't lead to people being.
So throwing kids in cages was more humane.
That wasn't immigration, dipshit. You don't know about this.
So who was in the cages?
Those were people.
Who was in the cages then?
Those were people who were coming here mostly seeking asylum, and they separated them because they couldn't identify
they're immigrating.
But that was
because they're immigrating.
I meant deportation. I said immigration. I meant deportation. That's not deportation.
That's fine.
Those people weren't being deported.
Okay, that's fine. That's understandable. You see how I let you talk and I'm understandable?
I'm doing the same thing. You haven't made any good points, bud.
No, you don't.
Donald Trump
just cut me off
Donald
every time
Trump is Donald Trump is worse at this.
See? You can't even let me finish a sentence.
Are you just going to cry now? Now that I'm asking you to explain his immigration policies, and you said if you're illegal, you get deported. That's every president's immigration policy. So it seems like you would support
so what's wrong
Harris.
With that? So
well, then why didn't you support Harris?
Because she just let everybody come in. Like who's the one that
She
just
did?
let? Yeah.
How'd she do that?
Who was the border czar? Who was the border czar?
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
What did she do?
How much immigrants do we have come in?
A lot.
Exactly.
Why?
And now how much immigrants are we coming in now?
Less.
Exactly.
These aren't policies. These are just things that you're saying. This is what I'm telling you. You don't know
what
you're
enforcing the policies, and you said that they enforce the policies better.
We're not. We're actually not. So the reason that so many people came in.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Excuse me. No, we're not agreeing right now. The reason that more people showed up, and by the way, if you look at 2019 when Trump was president, he was campaigning on migrant caravans. There were floods of people coming to our southern border while he was president the first time. In fact, on his way out the door, he wrote an executive.
That's why he wanted to build a wall.
Now who's interrupting? A wall wouldn't have fixed any of this. This is what I'm telling. This is what I'm telling you. A wall wouldn't have fixed this because these were asylum seekers, so they could come to this country. They're allowed in, and they're allowed to seek asylum. These are not illegal immigrants. It doesn't matter what they're seeking asylum from. What happens is when you get here to America, you make an asylum claim, and then the courts determine whether or not you have a legitimate asylum claim. And like 95% of the time, you are denied asylum and you are sent back. But there were so many people coming to the border that we needed to fix our asylum system to process people quicker, but Congress wouldn't do it. Congress just sat on their hands, and Donald Trump told Republicans in Congress, don't sign a border bill because I want to run on this. And we still don't have it. By the way, tomorrow, if asylum seekers started coming to our border again, we would have the same problem. The only difference is maybe Trump would not keep the law, and maybe he would use the military to illegally detain asylum seekers. That's the only difference. See, we want the laws to be changed so they make sense. You guys want Daddy Donald to go in there with the military and act tough. That's the main difference.
So what country doesn't act tough against immigration?
I don't give a fuck. That question's nonsense. Are you going to respond to what I said? See how you just did whataboutism? You never address what I say. Every time I finish a sentence, you go, what about? And you just move the goalpost. How about the fact that Donald Trump isn't changing the asylum laws? If the problem was that the asylum laws were broken, why aren't we changing the asylum laws? That's fine.
We didn't vote for him. We didn't vote for him to change the asylum laws.
What did you vote for
him to get rid of immigrants.
But he's getting rid of less immigrants than Joe Biden did. Way less. And it's more expensive. He's getting rid of all
the criminal aliens.
No, he's not.
Like all the human traffickers.
He's getting
all the second-degree murderers.
Traffickers?
Excuse me? Traffickers.
He's finding them all at workplaces, at construction sites, at court. You're telling me these dangerous criminals are showing up for their court dates and then they're arresting them? Is that what you're saying? Where's the evidence that he's deporting tons of violent criminals? Every time I turn on the TV, he's at
Garcia was human trafficker, and every time
I turn on the TV, it seems like he's at a workplace. People that are just going to work every day. That seems to be who they're deporting right now.
Yeah, and Trump just made an order that they should stop going to workplaces, farms, and businesses and just focus on criminals.
Yeah, no shit. That's what we were protesting. Yeah, that's why we were in the fucking streets, because we wanted him to be humane, and he backed down. So we were right, and you were wrong, and Trump was wrong. Do you know why ICE was created?
No, tell me, please, since you know everything.
It was after September 11th. They were to hunt down terrorists. That's what ICE is here for.
Patriot Act.
And during those hearings, there were people on both sides of the aisle that were like, the one thing we need to make sure with ICE is that if they're going to be given this extraordinary power, they need to be going after only the most dangerous criminals. So when we see ICE now, who is supposed to track down the most dangerous criminals, so when we see ICE raiding workplaces and deporting people with not even an accusation of violence or crime outside of coming to this country illegally, then we're like, yeah, this is government overreach. It's massive government overreach.
It's a crime in itself. If I broke the law for shoplifting, the police would be looking for me.
It's a misdemeanor. No, for a misdemeanor?
Yeah, they'll still be looking for you.
If you had a misdemeanor shoplifting charge, you think that the police would come track you down and show up in a fucking raid outfit with shields? No. If you get away, you get away. No. They're not tracking you down for shoplifting. If they don't catch you at the store, you got away with it. We are protesting ICE raiding workplaces of people who are not violent criminals or terrorists, and they were designed to go after.
And they were raiding a business, and they were protecting.
Hey, bitch, wait! And their job is to go after terrorists. So we don't want to live in a. Wait, bitch! We don't want to live in a police state. We're not cucked to Donald Trump. We don't want to hand over our rights because we like Donald Trump. And he's using it to go after people who committed a misdemeanor. And we don't like that. And it fucks up communities. And it makes people afraid to go to work. And it makes people who are here legally afraid, because you guys have also deported
Nobody here that's legally is afraid. My dad is, like I told you, we already talked about my dad. My dad is zero scared.
Legal. You guys have deported people who are Americans legally here.
What's their names? Can you provide their names?
Yeah, what's that guy's name that's the hairdresser? He's here legally. He's still in El Salvador. He was here legally. Why do you like Trump so much? What about him do you like? Because you don't know his policies, so this is a personality thing, right? Do you like him because he's rich?
Like, I care if he's rich or not. Biden was rich too.
Biden's not very rich. Biden's net worth's like
top 1%. He has $1 million for me is considered rich.
I don't know if he's in the 1%. I don't know if he would be in the 1%. He doesn't have a lot of money. He has some good assets. He doesn't have a ton of money though.
I mean,
but why do you like Trump?
A lot of assets.
Okay, so if it's not about him being rich, it must be because he's a good family man. Is that what you like about him? He's very good morals.
I mean, I don't really care about his family or nothing.
Okay, he's a good businessman.
How hard is it for him? Hard is it for him to run on some policies and for him to be backed up on it?
What?
Biden campaigned on curing cancer.
No, I'm asking
when
you.
When did anybody ever give Biden shit for curing cancer?
I'm asking you about Trump. I'm just asking what you like about Trump. Why are you talking about Biden? See, this is the thing.
Because he's everything that Biden is not.
No,
Biden
that's the
promised curing cancer.
Exactly. You have no fucking clue. You just think it's fun to talk shit about Biden, and you've heard people say bad things about Biden. You don't know a goddamn thing. You don't know a goddamn. You don't know a god. Okay, then tell me without saying Joe Biden.
All right, yeah, just the way he talks. He never has to look down at notes when he's speaking. He always speaks from the heart.
He reads off a teleprompter every day. What are you talking about?
I mean, not every day.
Every day, every time he gives a speech, it's on a teleprompter. Right. So okay, so because he looks left and right, you voted for him.
You just want to make up like silly assumptions.
I'm asking you. These aren't assumptions. I'm asking you.
I'm trying to answer you, and you just create a different answer that I didn't say.
Yeah, because if you say something that's not true, like he doesn't read, he does everything from the heart, then I'm going to say no, he doesn't.
I thought Trump couldn't read though.
He struggles to read. He's not a very good reader.
Okay, so then how can he read a teleprompter?
He struggles with the teleprompter all the time.
Okay, so then I don't know. I never see Trump's what's it called? Stutter. I never see him mumble over words. Yeah, he says like, "Oh, he's a great man," and then says things.
Okay, so
and then he repeats the same
you
thing.
Like Trump?
He's a great man.
So you like Trump because he doesn't have a stutter.
He's a genuine person.
What's genuine?
reach out
What's
to
genuine
people.
about him? What's genuine about Donald Trump?
Like when he went to go work at McDonald's just to show a day of appreciation to the hardworking
genuine.
McDonald's workers.
He went and worked at McDonald's, but Kamala wasn't. She worked there when she was a kid. That wasn't genuine. But Trump did it for a political campaign, and then that was
I'd like
genuine.
to see a picture of Kamala Harris wearing the McDonald's uniform. I don't think that's out there.
It's very genuine when he
But
did
you
that.
believe it.
Was very genuine when he did a staged campaign event where they shut down the McDonald's and they only allowed like his supporters to come through. That was very genuine. All right, what else do you love about him?
That he's not a pushover like Biden. And give me money.
He's not a pushover?
Oh, just give me.
How come he's dropped the tariffs on every single country so far?
Okay,
How
I
come
know
he
you were
has?
going to say that. That was literally part of the plan.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was part of the plan. It was part of the plan.
You guys were crying about tariffs
put
being
the
so
tariffs
high,
on
but
and
now
then
you
drop
want
them.
tariffs to go back up?
What?
First you were crying because Trump increased the tariffs. Now you're crying that
No, we weren't.
Trump,
We were crying.
tariffs.
We were saying that he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, is what we were saying. Because Biden did tariffs.
So that's
too.
why China reached a deal with America?
We don't have a deal with China yet.
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't.
The rare earth mineral deal?
No.
Or is that Ukraine?
We don't have that deal done.
No,
either.
that is China too.
We have zero deals
that's
done.
China.
There's zero deals that are done.
Bro, I'm into the Ford stock market. It's literally
You're
on the
into
news.
the what? You're into the what?
The Ford stock market?
The forest stock market?
Ford. The vehicle Ford.
So you own?
Yeah.
Are you saying you own stock in Ford?
And
And that's it. That's
news
why.
comes out.
That's why you know that the Commerce Secretary just testified in front of Congress on Friday that there are no deals that are done. So are they lying? And they forgot to tell Howard Lutnick, but you know, because you have Ford stock.
I mean,
Okay.
I'll watch the freaking news on Ford.
So he doesn't get pushed around. He backed down on that deal. Does he backed down on the
Who made him back down on the deal?
the other countries because they're smarter than him?
Oh, so Trump increased the tariffs
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to reach lower deal for both. And Trump is the one that backed down?
Yeah, so the tariffs were at 0 and he raised them to 25 and then they came back to 0.
What?
Canada and Mexico, he had already negotiated a trade deal. He undid NAFTA to negotiate his own trade deal, which was exactly the same as NAFTA. And in that trade deal, he made a rule that you could not put tariffs on Mexico and Canada. And then when he came back into office the second time, he either forgot or thought he could play Canada and Mexico. And he's like, I'm going to add tariffs. And they're like, we have a trade agreement. No. And he's like, okay. And then he backed
I
down.
do remember about that.
Yeah. So the one thing that you said he doesn't do, back down when it comes to tariffs, we now agree that he backs down. So what is it that you like about Donald Trump now that we know it's not that he's because he obviously backs down?
Okay.
So what is it?
All right. I wasn't even going to talk about that. I was going to try and at least agree with you on some point, but now you're just switching the subject.
No, I said we agree. So let's go to the next subject. Tell me something he was right about that you support.
I also support him with the no taxes, lowering taxes on overtime and Social Security and all that. And all the other shit.
That's not it. That's not in the bill. Only the no tax on tips is in the bill. Do you know what the limitations are on that?
No, tell me.
It's only up to $25,000 and it's only cash tips, which most people don't report anyways. So it's gonna be pretty insignificant.
Cool. So
it was Bernie's
and
it was Bernie Sanders' idea that he stole. So it's like a bipartisan idea that started on the left that Trump just co-opted, which we support. By the way, we all support. We all support no tax on tips.
So fund the police.
So you could have supported Harris with that too. So now I'm confused.
But when
again.
did you guys ever implement it? When did you guys ever freaking actually try and pass it?
We put it in multiple bills, but the Republicans always took it out.
Every single Democrat voted no against the bill.
What bill?
For no taxes on tips.
The bill
only got passed because every Republican voted yes.
The bill wasn't no tax on tips. It was the entire spending bill. So there wasn't a single Democrat that voted against that bill because of taxes on tips. Not one person has it come out and said this is why I voted against it. It's not if it was a
no Democrat has ever run on that either.
Bernie Sanders ran on that. What are you talking about? Harris ran on that during this last campaign.
Yeah, they won't actually implement. They're just all talk.
Trump didn't implement it either.
Like when Kamala Harris said, do not come, and everybody still came. And they don't give a shit what these people have to say.
Remember how
they have no backbone.
See how you're already back to talking about Democrats because you can't defend any of your own positions. You're just a hater. That's all you are.
Well, I mean, honestly,
you're a hater. You're an uneducated hater.
Point. The Democrats are the only reason I support Trump because
I know.
Of hate.
That's what I said. Thank you. I know. That's exactly what I said. You are your entire movement, the entire right wing movement, the entire entire movement of your side is just bitching and moaning about Democrats. You stand for nothing. You do nothing. You can watch my show every day. If you watched my show every day, you would know what I stand for. And you would know that I heavily criticize Democrats. I criticize Democrats today. I criticize Joe Biden all the time. I criticize them criticize them on principles. However, in this country, the Republicans own the House, the Senate, the presidency, and the Supreme Court. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to complain about Democrats right now because Republicans are in charge, and you just don't like it. And so you're sitting there whining like a little bitch that we're criticizing Donald Trump.
You're the one that doesn't like the Democrats holding a 19% approval rating.
You have no ability to defend any of those actions. I'm not a Democrat.
You have no ability to
I'm not
listen.
a Democrat, you dumb bitch. I don't support the Democrats, you dumb bitch. I think 19% approval rating is probably too high, you dumb bitch. But you can't defend any of your positions. I'm happy to criticize Democrats. I do it all the time. Many of them are dog shit, and I'm willing to do it, and I do it on principle, and I do it with policy. You're just an idiot who just likes Donald Trump, and you like criticizing Democrats because that's easy. That's what a small-minded person does. It's very easy to point out things.
You like criticizing Trump because it's easy.
It's very easy to point at things and say that's bad and not have any understanding of why they're bad. When I criticize Donald Trump, not only do I say that's bad, I explain why it's bad. You can't explain any of this shit. You're just a hater. You are a low level,
I try
low
explaining
energy,
it to you, and you ask your chat to help you out with my interpretation.
Instead of spending an hour debating this shit, maybe go read something. Maybe figure out what you actually believe, because you just are a hater. That's it. You have no information at all. You're quite literally one of the lowest information human beings I've ever debated. Ever. You have
That's
zero
fine.
details. It's an hour later. You have zero details on anything.
Because you don't let me finish a talking point, dude. Like, what?
Give me a detail on something then. Give me a
I
detail.
try and say something and you just cut me off.
Give me a detail then. I'll give you one last chance. Give me some data on
Detail
something.
about what? Like,
Anything. Give me some
okay,
fucking
what do you want to
data.
know data about?
Any immigration.
Okay, what about it? 98% less crossings. I already gave you that. You want to talk about how freaking immigrants commit 30% less crimes? Okay, so
That's a good one. That's a good one.
1,500 immigrants, 30%.
Wait, why are we deporting immigrants if they commit less crime than American citizens? It's a good. I like that point.
No, okay, yeah, that's what I was going to get to that point as well. Like,
So why don't
okay,
we?
so-
wait, why are we deporting these people if they commit crime at a lower rate?
see, you don't let me finish a point, dude.
I
I'm
asked
trying to
you-
explain.
no, I'm trying to ask you a
myself
question
in detail,
now.
and you don't let me
I'm
finish.
trying to find common ground with you, bud.
Okay.
We just found common ground, so now I'm wondering if you already know that immigrants commit crime at a lower rate, then what the fuck are we doing these ICE raids? Why do we have the whole?
We found common ground, but since I'm explaining myself in detail, you're going to disagree with me because I'm able to finish my sentence
Go ahead.
in detail.
Go
Ready? Okay, so if there's 1,000 immigrants, illegal or whatever you want to call them, and we just let them enter and they commit 30% less crimes, so that's 30% less than the 1,000 immigrants.
Mhm.
Okay, so 10,000 immigrants, that 30% increases, right?
What?
100,000 immigrants, that 30% increases in number. A million immigrants, that 30% increases in numbers as well.
Okay, but that
10 million.
Can I wait? Hold on, real quick. So I understand what you're saying.
I wasn't even done finishing my thought.
Brother, I don't need 50 fucking. You've already explained your point. You don't need to go to 10 million and 20 million and 30. The point is, you're saying when more people
Well,
come.
you want it in
No,
detail.
that's not adding detail. That's not adding detail. That's rambling. Well, I think make sure I understand your argument. Your argument is that if there are more people here, even if they commit crimes at a lower rate, that's still more crime total, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay, so then why don't we just stop letting people have white children?
because that would be fascist and Nazism, not allowing a race to be born. Are you trying to
Okay, what about
eradicate
just
a race?
American children?
Are you a Nazi?
What about just American children?
I mean, I'm from Mexican heritage.
But no, because if
I have a kid
Americans,
here,
hold on,
he would
hear
be
me out.
considered American.
First of all, let me be clear. I'm not advocating for these policies. I'm taking your logic and I'm applying it across the board. So what you're saying is, so then if we agree that Americans commit crimes at a higher rate, why don't we just stop letting Americans have children? Because then there will be less Americans, right? So then, but if we keep letting Americans have children, then they're going to have a million children and 10 million children and 20 million children, and then the crime rate will keep going up, right? Why don't we just stop Americans from having children?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah. But it's like,
So
are
then,
you not going to have a kid because that kid might
so
be a
what's-
murderer?
So what's the difference?
You know?
Yeah, exactly. So we shouldn't bring in immigrants because
The difference is they were already born in a different country and we're
Bingo.
letting them enter here.
bingo. There's this imaginary border that for some reason makes us hate each other.
imaginary border, but somehow.
if we look at people who are coming here to this country from Central America, who are a net benefit, who commit crimes at a lower rate, who are able to fill jobs, we have 10 million jobs sitting unfilled right now. They are a net benefit to the United States. And for some reason, one party has been convinced that because some of them came here illegally, that we need to get rid of all of them because they came here illegally. And I'm just saying, if you're going to apply the logic evenly, which I don't think, I think my logic makes sense. I would never advocate that Americans not be allowed to have more children. Likewise, I would never say that people coming here from other countries increases our crime rate and that we should get rid of them. It's a faulty logic that Republicans do, and that's like the bigotry that we talk about. I don't think most people. Hold on. I don't think most people who espouse racist ideas espouse it because internally they're like, I hate this person or I hate these people. It is possible to not hate somebody and still have racist policies. And that's my criticism against this administration is the policies. I don't care what somebody thinks or what's in their heart because I'll never know. I'll never know what's in your heart or what you think. All I can judge you on is like the outcome of your actions. And the outcome of Republican actions so far under this Trump administration is they are anti-woman, they are anti-LGBTQ, they are anti-immigrant, they are anti-black, they are anti-Muslim. And so I don't really care what's in their heart. And there is nothing that is anti-white. There's nothing that is anti-Christian, right? They just target groups.
Why would you want to be anti-white and anti-Christian?
Exactly.
Democrats didn't have
exactly. Why would you want to
person in Congress until the 80s?
Exactly. Why would you want to be anti-anything, right? Just apply that principle across the board. Why be anti-white? Why be anti-Christian? I agree. At the same time, why be anti-LGBTQ? Why be anti-Muslim? Why be anti-Mexican? Why?
Well, I mean, the anti-Muslim is kind of understandable. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. No, I don't know what you mean.
That's a kind of touchy subject.
No, I don't know what you mean because if we're talking,
the Muslim leader has even called for illegal immigrants, to come and enter the country illegally and cause harm. No matter if you're Mexican American, Filipino American, Chinese American.
Yeah, our secretary.
Kill them all.
Our secretary
trying to attack Donald Trump.
Our secretary
trying to attack JD Vance.
Brother, I get it.
That's the Muslim leader saying.
Our Secretary of Defense has said, "Kill all Muslims." That's worse.
I mean,
that's worse. Well, that's worse. Is that not worse?
What are you talking about? Muslims.
Pete Hegseth said. Pete Hegseth, while he was running his charity, stood up and said, "Kill all Muslims." I know, but see, the thing is, it only bothers you in one direction. When Pete Hegseth says "kill all Muslims," it doesn't bother you.
Well, they started.
You don't like
just
Muslims.
Pushing back, dude.
You don't like Muslims. See how you're okay. See how you're okay. See how you're okay with some bigotry, but not others. And I am not okay with any of that bigotry. I would not support.
I never said I was okay with it. I just understand it.
I would not support.
Who wants death to America? So you support death to America?
I would not support an administration who said, let's get rid of Christians. I would not support an administration that said, let's get rid of white Christian males. Even though
would you support an administration that said death to America?
Even though, statistically speaking, the biggest danger to my child is a white Christian man. Far more dangerous to my child is a white Christian man than a Mexican immigrant or a trans person. I would never advocate targeting white Christian men for the actions of some white Christian men. And to answer your question, no, I would not support an administration that says death to America. I do not support people who say death to America, just like I don't support Pete Hegseth saying kill all Muslims. I am consistent with my priorities. I am consistent with the things I believe.
I mean, I said too. I don't agree with saying kill all Muslims, but I understand it. Just like I understand the reason people want to say death to America.
Exactly.
I understand the reason.
But I would never
agree with it, but you're saying I do.
Well, you support an administration who does that. And if you don't support him, just start talking about it. I didn't vote
on him to be anti-Muslim. I voted on him to be other stuff.
Do you think Pete Hegseth should be removed?
I mean,
do you think Pete Hegseth should be removed?
I mean, if he acts upon it, yeah.
Okay.
Actions do you think louder than words?
Does it bother? Does it make sense that Donald Trump knew he said that and still chose him as Secretary of Defense? What does that say about Donald Trump's judgment that he knew Pete Hegseth was on the record saying that, and also saying that women shouldn't be allowed to serve in the military, and he still chose him? Do you see how why sometimes we're like, maybe Trump doesn't say these things, but he keeps.
People can have different opinions.
I know, but Trump has a lot.
You don't have
but
to
Trump had a
agree
lot
with
of
everything the president
I know,
says
but Trump had a lot of people he could have chosen, and most of the people he could have chosen are not on the record saying women should not serve in the military and kill all Muslims. In fact, almost everybody he picked wouldn't have been on the record saying that.
I understand that women should
Do you understand what we're saying?
be in the military because they should be at home being safe. Like, you don't want to protect your women. You want your girlfriend to go out there and die. I wouldn't want that for my wife.
Yeah, if she wants to serve in the military, it's not my job to tell her what to do, brother. Women should have the same rights as men.
I mean, it's not my job to tell her what to do.
Okay, well, you're doing it. But if you tell her she can't. But okay, you can try and convince her. But if you tell her she can't be in the military, if we make laws that say she can't because she should be at home, see, I'm for people having freedom.
Have you ever been on a team before?
Yeah, brother, lots of times. Was a college athlete.
Have you guys ever had racist jokes amongst each other, sexist jokes amongst each other?
Probably.
Okay, so what's the difference between the military?
They're
all in one team fighting together. I mean, why would you want women in the military when every single man is stronger than a woman?
Excuse me. First of all, women. Do you think women should not be in the military?
Okay, so because they want to be, the men want to be bigoted. So should we let them be bigoted?
No, because
the men want to be sexist. So should we let them be sexist?
No, because that hurts people. Does it hurt to have women in the military?
Yeah, because they hurt themselves.
How does it hurt?
Have you seen?
How does having women in the military hurt?
Have you seen an all-Marine women crew compared to an all-Marine men crew?
There is no such thing.
Exactly.
Because why? Why is there no such thing?
Because the women would get hurt.
Because the men would have because there's physical standards, right? So if a woman meets the physical standards, should she be allowed to serve? If a woman goes through SEAL training, makes it all the way, just hypothetically, if a woman makes it through SEAL training, should she be allowed to be a Navy SEAL?
We don't live on hypotheticals.
Yes, we do, brother. This is a hypothetical. If a woman makes it through,
okay, she won't.
Okay, but if she did,
she can. But she never will. Okay, so she's never going to be a SEAL.
So wait, hold on. So you and I agree. Pete Hegseth disagrees. You agree with me. You agree with the left. This is what we believe about women in the military.
Really,
nobody.
Hold on. We would have to lower standards for them to pass.
Hold on. No, they don't. They do not have to lower standards. They may lower physical standards for people who don't fight in combat roles, but they do that.
But they may lower physical standards, but not the standards.
Physical standards for people who don't serve in a combat role, and they do that for men too. The physical standards for joining the military are not the same as the physical standards for being a Navy SEAL. Would you agree with that? It's different standards, right?
Oh,
right.
Yeah. Obviously.
Okay, great. So there's no problem with women serving in the military if they if a woman let's just say that she's very weak. She's 4'2" and she has no muscle, but she serves in an intelligence role. She's never going to see combat. Why does it matter if she has no muscle? It doesn't, right?
Okay, now seeing combat, that's different. I can agree with that. But women shouldn't be in the combat.
But there are also women who serve in combat roles who are effective, and they meet the same exact physical requirements of the men. If those women meet the same physical requirements of the men and they serve in a combat role, should they be allowed to serve in a combat role?
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
well,
Pete Hegseth is okay. So great. So wait,
women.
No, stop arguing. You disagree with Pete Hegseth for the same reason I do, because Pete Hegseth believes.
How many times does a woman get on a period a year?
Hold on.
So if a woman is on combat and she gets
don't go to period. Don't go to periods.
That should be fine.
Yes.
Okay, I muted him. Why are we talking with a guy about periods who thinks huge schlongs are 3 or 4 inches? I fucking can't. Yes, I muted him. He can't talk. This is insane. We are 40 minutes over. This is insane.
All right, we'll end it. Thanks,
all right,
guy.
I'll unmute him now, but we don't need to keep talking with the guy who thinks huge schlongs are 3 or 4 inches. Fucking A. Bye.